I found a hidden room in my basement. Something was already inside. It started with a sound, faintly, faint, almost unnoticeable, like furniture being dragged across a concrete floor. I live alone, in a quiet rental home on the edge of town. Nothing fancy, just a one-story house with a basement the landlord told me not to worry about. He said it was used for old storage and not worth the trouble, whatever that meant. Casual. Honestly, I didn't think much of it. The rent was cheap, and I needed a fresh start. I was just grateful to find a place where I could be alone. Uneasy. But that sound, that low, distant scraping, kept happening. Always at night. Always from the floor beneath me. But before, subscribe for more this type of chilling videos. At first, I blamed old pipes. Then, rats. Maybe the house was just settling. Questioning. That's what people say, right? Old houses settle. Skeptical. But I wasn't so sure. Worried. My dog Max started acting strange. He wouldn't go near the basement door. He'd sit at the top of the stairs, ears back, tail between his legs, just staring, not barking, not moving, just watching it like he was waiting for something to come out. Whimpering. Sometimes he'd whimper. Growling. One night he growled so fiercely I thought he was going to tear the door off its hinges. Shocked. But when I opened it to show him nothing was there, puzzled, he backed away like whatever was down there was the last thing he wanted to see. Thoughtful. I didn't even know what the basement looked like. Struggling. The door didn't have a lock, but it always stuck, like it didn't want to open. Ha! When I finally pushed it open, the air hit me, cold, stale, and heavy. Observing. I stood at the top of the stairs and shined my flashlight down. The beam barely cut through the darkness, but I could see the basics. Concrete floor, old shelves, a workbench in the corner, nothing too weird. Surprised, except the far wall. It didn't match the rest. The bricks were newer, cleaner, like someone had rebuilt it more recently. Suspicious. And in the center of that wall was a small metal door. No handle, no lock. Just a solid sheet of blackened steel. Cursor. I asked the landlord about it the next day. Shocked. His voice changed immediately. Sternly. "You shouldn't have gone down there," he said. Disappointed. No explanation. No concern. Just that one sentence. Persistent. I pressed him for more. And finally he told me that the last tenant had a nervous breakdown and left without notice. Gravely. He never said what caused it, only that the guy started hearing voices and eventually smashed through the basement wall before vanishing. Dismissive. "It's best you pretend it's not there," he told me. Sarcastic. That was his solution. Sighed, I wish I could've. Anxious. But now that I'd seen it, I couldn't stop thinking about that door. Why was it there? What was behind it? And why would someone wall it up, only to leave a door in the center? For days I avoided the basement. I tried to ignore the sounds, Max's behavior, the heavy feeling in my chest every time I passed the door. But then something changed. I woke up one night to Max scratching at my bedroom door. He never does that. I opened it and he bolted straight down the hall to the basement. By the time I got there, he was pawing at the door like he was trying to dig through it. I opened the basement door again and Max took 2 steps down before freezing. His body stiffened like he was made of stone. Then he let out this guttural, terrified whine and bolted back up the stairs, almost knocking me over in the process. That was the last straw. I had to know what was behind that door. I grabbed my toolbox, went down into the basement, and started tearing down the new bricks around the steel. It took hours. The bricks were newer, yes, but whatever had sealed them was stronger than it should have been, like it didn't want to be undone. Eventually, I cleared enough to expose the full metal door. That's when I saw the engraving. It was barely visible, almost like it had been scratched in by hand. 5 words. "Do not open. It watches back." I stared at it for a long time. It was freezing in that room, but sweat poured down my back. My hands were shaking. I stood there for a long time, just breathing, trying to convince myself to go back upstairs. But then I heard it again. The same sound that had started all this. Scraping, right behind the door. I don't remember opening it. I think my brain checked out. One minute I was staring at the door, the next I was inside a dark, narrow hallway. It wasn't part of the house. It couldn't be. The walls were older than anything else in the building, made of rough stone, slick with moisture. I took maybe 5 steps in before I realized there were markings all along the walls. Symbols, faces, eyes. Hundreds of them, all carved into the stone, all facing forward. I felt something behind me and turned. Nothing. But when I looked back down the hall, I swear one of the eyes had moved. Not blinked, shifted, slightly turned, watching. The air was getting heavier with every step I took. I could feel something waiting. I should have left, but curiosity is stronger than fear sometimes. I kept going until I reached a small chamber, no bigger than a walk-in closet. In the center was a chair, old, wooden, and facing the wall. That's it. Just a chair. I stood there for what felt like forever. Then I heard a whisper. My name. I spun around, but I was alone. Then I heard it again, this time from the chair. The voice was coming from it. I took one step closer. The chair creaked, and then I heard breathing. Not mine, not Max's. A slow, rattling breath that seemed to echo off the walls and into my skull. I turned and ran. I didn't look back. I sprinted up the stairs, slammed the basement door, and shoved furniture in front of it. I tried to sleep that night, but couldn't. Every creak of the house sounded like footsteps. Every shadow looked like someone watching. The next morning, the basement door was open. The furniture I'd used to block it had been moved. Not tossed, not smashed, just neatly moved aside. Max was gone. His leash still hanging by the door, his bed untouched. I never found him. I left the house that day. I didn't pack, I didn't tell the landlord, I just got in my car and drove. I've been staying in hotels ever since, moving every few days. But I keep seeing it. The symbol from the basement, on signs, in graffiti, on receipts. Every few days I hear my name, whispered when no one is around. I haven't been able to sleep through the night. And last week when I opened the drawer of a motel nightstand, I found something that nearly made me pass out. A photo of Max, sitting in that basement chair, looking straight into the camera. And behind him, standing in the shadows, was something I can't describe. Tall, twisted, eyes that looked like they'd been carved from stone. So if you ever rent a place and the owner tells you not to go into the basement, listen. Because some doors weren't meant to be opened, and some things, once seen, never stop watching you back.